Months ago, the Columbus City School Board of Education entered contract negotiations with the Columbus Education Association with one overriding goal: put children first. I am pleased to say that this new agreement does just that. This is a contract that keeps students at the center of all we do and supports our board's educational mission for Columbus City Schools. Together with CEA leadership, we have created an agreement that recognizes the critical role all CEA members play in achieving our mission. For example, this 3-year agreement commits to planning for building improvements to ensure that spaces where children learn and teachers teach are climate controlled, incentivizing teachers to complete licensure and certification in areas of high needs, reducing class sizes from elementary through high school, allowing flexibility with the time and structure of the school day, improving two-way communication between families and their child's teacher, offering innovative paid leave benefits, and recruiting and retaining talented educators with a highly competitive compensation increase. To all CEA members, we say thank you for your thoughtful consideration of this agreement and your unwavering commitment to supporting our children and families. We look forward to getting our children back in their schools with you tomorrow. Thank you. I'll take questions.
President Adair, one thing that while at the CEA meeting, it was a lot of mixed emotions from teachers. This is obviously a 3-year contract, so one of the things that was brought up is, will they be fighting for the things that they didn't get this contract, next contract? Some feel that this is just an ongoing cycle.
You know, so the board has really listened to the teachers in the community throughout this process. In fact, they share much of our own concerns and reasons why the Board of Education chose to run. There are systemic problems with urban education, and that's a lot of the frustration that you heard out there on the strike line. And it's not going to be solved in this contract. What it's going to be solved with is a lot of us coming together with our community to support the things our children need. That means working with all of our unions. It means working with our community partners and our citizens. We hear you. And we're going to continue working on those things. It's extremely important to this Board of Education to begin to address those systemic problems.
What tipped the scale during that long negotiation session, Wednesday into Thursday, for that bargaining team for the CEA to say, okay, we're on the same page now, let's move forward?
I'm not going to go too much into detail. It was a very long night, and we got a lot accomplished. We really talked through some of those sticking points. I was in the room, which was different than we typically negotiate, but it was important that the board be there to really get a finalized offer on the table so the CEA members could consider it. You know, and a lot of the discussion and dialogue we had was really trying to understand the why behind what the teachers and CEA members were asking for.
What all was learned from this experience, this strike, to prevent it from ever reaching this point again moving forward?
We need to fix urban education. I think that the community has learned a valuable lesson. The teachers are not wrong in what they are speaking about. The Board of Education is working on those things. We have been implementing plans since 2019, and now it's time for the community to step up. Everyone's tired in this education space, and our children are the ones that suffer, and we don't want that. None of us want that. And so, I think it's a wake-up call, and I'm glad that CEA fought for how they did. They really opened the eyes to the community in ways that, honestly, the board couldn't.
There was a lot of emotion, obviously, over the last several weeks, months. Is there any concern that relationships will be damaged between the board and the teachers? And if so, are there plans to continue to work on those moving forward?
So culture and climate is something that we are always working on. I know that in contract negotiations, it's set up to be adversarial, us versus them. But in reality, if we stay us versus them, the only losers are our children. And so it's really important that we come together. Our teachers, our librarians, our psychologists, we're all on the same team, and we all want what's best for our students. We know it's not perfect. That's why actually culture and climate is part of our strategic plan, and we will be making extra efforts to work on healing, and the district will learn more about those plans from the superintendent as they come forward. But we know this has been a really difficult time for everyone, and we want to just make sure that everyone takes kind of a step back to take a breath and take a step forward for our children together.
You said one of the things that made the difference Wednesday night, Thursday morning was you were in the room. Were you not in the room for the other negotiations?
Typically the way that the board, well, traditionally, historically, the way that this board has negotiated is we send a negotiating team. And so the board is very much involved. We give all the authority, but we typically are not at the actual table. And so that's the way our district has done it, and we decided it wasn't quite working, and so we decided to change it up and just, you know, to let CEA know how important it was to us as a board.
Were in the room when the agreement was reached? Was it a dozen? Was it 2 dozen? What was the mood like?
I think the mood was, we were tired, but we were resolved to get it done. You know, we worked really hard. There's a lot of great things in this contract for students, for our children, for our staff, our valuable teachers and librarians, and everyone who's a CEA member. And so it really is a child-first contract. The other things we have to continue to work on.
What can students and their families expect tomorrow and moving forward?
First day, so we are expected everyone to be back in the classrooms and in schools, and we're going to redo our first day, right? This will be a traditional first day. It's going to be really exciting, you know, and we're going to have a great school year. You know, we are working really hard to make sure that every building and everything is in top notch. But we are a big district, and for those of you in the room today, you know that it is not climate controlled like we would like it in here. Things happen, and so we will continue to work hard to make sure that when they do, we have proper fixes to those. You know, our kids are they're gonna have a great school year. I'm very confident of that.
We talked to a lot of families over the last couple of days about what they were going through. Do you have a final message for them, and maybe some of the kids who felt confused and let down maybe by not being able to go back to school, especially those younger students last week?
Yeah, so luckily for our youngest students, our kindergartners who's starting out, right, they this was their real first day. So they were luckily spared by a little bit of it. But yeah, to our students, I mean, I have a student who was devastated by the news. I did a teacher mom who was devastated by the news. Everybody, you know, wants to be back in the classroom, and really that's the place we should be. And to all of our students, just know that, you know, every adult in this district, every community member really does care about you. And as we saw our community out there supporting our teachers, that's really support for you too. And so we're going to continue to lean on that. We're going to lean on our community to make sure that our students have exactly what they need to become the portrait of a graduate, what our community said was important.
And there's a meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Is that still happening? Can you kind of just walk us through why that needs to happen? I know it's part of the protocol, but for people who might not understand that portion.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning, the board will put its official vote of approval on the contract, and we will sign it with CEA leadership, and it will become official.
Is that open to the public?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Where will it be?
At 3700 South High, our Southland building.
Yeah, I was at Huntington Park and I was trying to listen to what they were talking about. It was really hard to hear what the contract really holds. But I think I heard something about we're going to have control of our heating and air conditioning at the building level. Is that the case? I mean, or is it still going to be controlled from downtown?
Yeah, that's So the full details of the contract will actually be put on our board docs as public because we have to vote on it tomorrow. So that's probably being done now. So you can go ahead and look at it and read it. I'm not sure, you might have heard that a little bit incorrectly. Basically, it allows for air conditioning, which is added to the list of things that are required to create a safe environment. That has been added. And then we have made a commitment as the board to ensure that we have climate control in all teaching environments, so classrooms, but in addition, gyms, auditoriums, libraries, I'm missing something, lunchrooms. And so we've made that commitment to be done by the end of the contract.
And they'll be controlled at the building level?
We have various systems, and so I believe most of them are controlled we say downtown, but in our central location. And there may be some that are controlled, but it wouldn't be the teachers doing so. It would be a facility person.